Today, we will be reviewing the Godzilla series from the very beginning, starting off in 1954, when Japanese theaters released a movie that would change everything forever. This was the original Godzilla. 1955. Godzilla's back at it, this time with another monster, Anguirus, who would one day become to be known as Godzilla's best friend. This was Godzilla Raids Again. 1956. Rodan. This fiery pterodactyl made his on-screen debut in that movie. 2 years later, in 1958, Godzilla, Anguirus, and Rodan unite together to destroy Tokyo in the new movie, All Monsters Unite, and it was in color. 1961, the Queen of the Monsters makes her on-screen debut in the Mothra movie. 1961, the clash between two iconic movie monsters happens in the movie King Kong vs. Godzilla. 1963, or more technically, 1964. Mothra vs. Godzilla. In this movie, Godzilla nor Mothra were not allies. 1964. The debut of Godzilla's greatest villain, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. 1956. Ghidorah is back at it again in Invasion of Astro Monster. 1966. Ebirah, Horror of the Deep. Godzilla is on Infant Island fighting a giant lobster named Ebirah. 1966. Son of Godzilla introduces us to Godzilla's adoptive son, Minilla. 1968. Destroy All Monsters. Godzilla and his monstrous allies must fight King Ghidorah before he destroys the entire world. 1969. All Monsters Attack, also known as Godzilla's Revenge. In this movie, Godzilla's adoptive kid Minilla faces off Gabra, his own bully. 1971. Godzilla vs. Hedorah. The smog monster has a worthy opponent now. 1972. Godzilla vs. Gigan. A space dinosaur with a laser protruding from his forehead is in a continuous battle with the King of the Monsters. 1973. Godzilla vs. Megalon introduces us to two new kaijus, Megalon and Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar is on Godzilla's side, fighting with Megalon and Gigan. 1973. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla introduces us to Godzilla's mechanical clone, Mechagodzilla, who initially pretended to be Godzilla's clone. 1975. Terror of Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla returns. This time, we meet a new kaiju. Meet Titanosaurus, a kaiju born from the depths of the ocean. After 9 years of being absent from Japanese cinemas, the return of Godzilla brings us a new, refreshed Godzilla design, with new dorsal plates, and even bigger and better than ever. 1989. Godzilla vs. Biollante. Godzilla fights Biollante, his plant-like sister, born from Godzilla's DNA and some random plant. 1990. Kaiju Kingdom. A Japanese original TV show running for one season. It taught viewers various aspects of the kaijus from the previous Godzilla films, including the recent one at the time, which was Godzilla vs. Biollante. 1991. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. Godzilla's greatest three-headed enemy is back at it again, this time in a new form named Mecha King Ghidorah. 1999, Godzilla vs. Mothra. This time, Mothra is on Godzilla's side now, marking them as the true king and queen of the monsters. 1993, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. In this movie, Mechagodzilla's design was upgraded to match the current design of Godzilla at the time. 1994, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. Godzilla's biological son grew a little bit. If you don't remember Godzilla's biological son, Godzilla Jr., he first appeared in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. He gets attacked by Space Godzilla in that movie. From 1994 to 1995, Get Going Godziland. It was a Japanese kids show that taught kids various stuff, such as hiragana, counting, and in the second volume, addition and subtraction. 1995. Godzilla vs. Destoroyah. The end of the Heisei Era for Godzilla, where Godzilla is at his thermonuclear state and must sacrifice himself to destroy Destoroyah. 1996 to 1998. The Rebirth of Mothra Trilogy. Mothra is reborn and goes through several different forms, traveling across the world. 1998. Godzilla makes his American debut. But later, he got rebranded as a different character entirely named Zilla and was killed in Godzilla Final Wars. 1999, Godzilla 2000. This is where Godzilla received a more drastic change. A more slimmed down look and longer dorsal plates. He fought against Orga in that movie. 2000, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Godzilla fights against a giant demon dragon fly to save Tokyo. 2001, GMK, Giant Monsters All Out Attack. Baragon returns in this new Godzilla movie. This movie focuses mainly on Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. 2002, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. This new Mechagodzilla interpretation is called Kiryu. And this is where Godzilla gets a scar, which is later revealed in the 2003 movie Godzilla Tokyo SOS, where Godzilla unites with Mothra against Mechagodzilla Kiryu. 2004, supposedly the final film in the Godzilla franchise at the time, Godzilla Final Wars. This will be an ultimate monster battle, featuring monsters like Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, Anguirus, King Caesar, and a brand new monster, Monster X, which takes on another form, Kaiser Ghidorah. In 2005 to 2008, Japan launched a TV show running for 3 seasons called Godzilla's Planetary Adventures. It shows a more anime-like version of Godzilla traveling through space and time to different planets. But perhaps the most interesting episode of this series was the episode where he fought against giant dinosaurs. And yes, in the Monsterverse, Godzilla was so old, he lived at the same time as dinosaurs. 2014, Godzilla returns again to the American theaters in his new debut Monsterverse movie, Godzilla. 2016, Japan makes another Godzilla movie titled Shin Godzilla, honoring the original 1954 Godzilla. 2017, Godzilla hasn't returned to the American theaters, but King Kong has. in his new movie, Kong Skull Island. This takes place in 1973, the same year Godzilla vs. Megalon came out in Japan. So, does that mean that Godzilla vs. Megalon and Kong Skull Island are connected? 2017 to 2018, Japan released 3 Godzilla anime movies, which I like to call the Godzilla Earth Trilogy. 2019, which is the 65th anniversary of Godzilla, we get a new Monsterverse movie. This time, Godzilla makes his return, along with 3 new monsters, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. 2021, Godzilla vs. Kong. Once the radioactive king of the monsters, Godzilla, and the great ape Kong once again fight for survival. 2021 was also the year Godzilla Singular Point was released in Japan. 2022, a rather short film came out titled Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex, and Gigan finally got the recognition he deserved after so many years of being forgotten. 2023, 2 Godzilla movies. One titled The Rise of Godzilla, which was more of a series of events happening across the world. Godzilla here is depicted as a protector of Earth. And in Japan, they made Godzilla -1 to honor the 1954 Godzilla with a more destructive nature. 2024, which was last year, in America, we got the Godzilla x Kong The New Empire movie. Here, we have the debut of 2 new kaijus, Scar King and Shimo. In 2004, we also got another Godzilla movie, this time from a Shanghai studio collaborating with Toho, titled Kingdom Godzilla. In 2026, the same year as Shrek 5 comes out, we could get a Godzilla -2, which will be a sequel to Godzilla -1. 2027, which is the year the Godzilla x Kong 3 movie is set to release in. We could get a new villain, or we could see the return of the original Godzilla kaijus. And there will be more to come. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned, and bye-bye!